OpenAI and specifically Sam Altman have made the news once again. This time it's because Sam Altman has come out and he's given some very specific predictions for 2035. So he's giving a 10-year prediction. Now, the way that he expressed these things is through a blog, and the terminology and some of the ways that he wrote his predictions here are a little bit sophisticated. I wouldn't say verbose, but just let's just say sophisticated in that. I think it was a little bit complicated. It was difficult for me to read sometimes. So I want to try and reframe it and to also talk about how this is important to education. What does this mean for academia? So I'm going to go through and talk about his three predictions. He gives three of them, and then discuss what that means for us in academia specifically. In his blog post, he describes this as three observations about the economics of AI. His very first observation, prediction, says that it appears that you can spend an arbitrary amounts of money and get continuous and predictable gains. The scaling law that predicts this are accurate over many orders of magnitude. This is something that I've been talking about as well, and that AI is not getting slower. It's not slowing down in any fashion, in any way. It's not running out of data. All those things are not happening. It will continue to develop. It will continue to get smarter in many different ways with more capabilities. So this idea that, oh, it's slowing down, oh, let's wait and see. Well, there is no more waiting and seeing. It's here and it's continuing to develop. So it's just going to become more and more powerful and more part of people's lives. So that's an important aspect to understand. So that's one of his observations, which to me seems obvious, and it's just a continuation of what we've known about since it came out. His next observation or prediction is that the cost to use a given level of AI falls about 10 times every 12 months. The lower prices lead to much more use. So what does that mean overall? Simply means that using and implementing AI will continue to get cheaper and cheaper. So we have to think about that as well. If using AI becomes cheaper and cheaper, less expensive, that means more and more businesses will be able to use it. More and more businesses will decide to invest. More and more businesses will be able to integrate that into their overall business to enhance their efficiencies and their capabilities. So what does that mean for you and me? Well, that means that more and more of the jobs will require the use of AI because these businesses are integrating it. That means that it'll be more and more difficult for us to not be interacting with the AI because more businesses will be having that as part of their overall applications, having that as part of their processes. So this means that it's going to become more and more part of our lives. So that's a big thing to understand, that because it's getting cheaper, that means it's going to be used more throughout all of society. And finally, the third big observation or prediction says that the social economic value of linearly increasing intelligence is super exponential in nature. Okay, what does that mean? That means that investments into AI will continue as it becomes even more valuable and vital. We've already seen billions and billions of dollars being invested for data centers, for power plants, for the whole infrastructure associated with this. That type of investment is just going to continue. It's going to continue for multiple companies because this is becoming such a vital aspect of what businesses need, what research needs, what many different organizations need in order to continue to develop to increase their capabilities. So that is going to continue as well. And there are many different ways this is going to happen. A big one is going to be agents. And Sam talks about that in his post as well. Sam Altman states that we are now starting to roll out AI agents, which will eventually feel like virtual coworkers. It will not have the biggest new ideas. It will require lots of human supervision and direction, and it will be great at some things, but surprisingly bad at others. Still, imagine it as a real but relatively junior virtual coworker. Now imagine 1,000 of them, or 1 million of them. Now imagine such agents in every field of knowledge work. So this is pretty powerful on several different levels. I like that he said co-workers, right? Because I think that's exactly what's going to happen, is that because we have this powerful AI as AI agents being able to do real work, multi-step, real action, it is going to be like a coworker, meaning that there's going to be less of the real workers there, right? It's going to be a coworker AI. So I do think there will be much less jobs because it's going to take over certain jobs. Now, there it mentioned that, and I think he's being sort of nice in his explanation that, oh, it's only going to be like a junior level person. Yeah, that'll be initially, it'll be a junior level person, but then it's going to become smarter and smarter. It's going to learn more and more capabilities, more and more jobs, and be able to make more and more decisions. So I think he's sort of lowballing it a bit as far as its capabilities, especially since this is supposed to be predictions for 10 years out. In fact, my recommendation is when you read this blog, when you're listening to me talking about this, don't view it as 10 years out at all. View it as 5 years out, because that's when I believe we're going to hit artificial general intelligence within 5 years. But let's not get caught up with that aspect specifically. Let's just go with the idea that within 5 years, the AI will be so powerful that it will be able to do these things like he's predicting here. In fact, it's basically being able to do that now, but even more so within 5 years. So we have these co-workers, right, that have taken over a lot of jobs. We still need people. We're still going to need people. We'll always need people for different aspects of a job to hold people accountable for those things. And the big thing here is that it's not just about business, that when we think about like tech business or we think about some sort of sophisticated type business that would use AI. No, we're talking about all sectors, all organizations, research, anything you can think of. AI will be there as a resourceful tool that can take action as well to help with the overall process. That's what AI agents are going to be doing. So this is important for us to understand. And then he continues on with some other aspects of this. He makes some big statements here in saying that in some ways AI may turn out to be like the transistor economically, a big scientific discovery that scales well and that seeps into almost every corner of the economy. That's exactly it. The future will be coming at us in a way that is impossible to ignore, and the long-term changes to our society and economy will be huge. They may not look very much like the jobs of today. That's a big point. Talking about what are the jobs going to be in the future? It's going to be different. And so we need to be thinking about that as academia. What do we need to teach our students? What do we need to prepare them for into the future? Now, his next paragraph here starts to address that, but again, I think it's in a little bit sophisticated, convoluted way, let's say. So let me read that to you. He states that agency, willfulness, and determination will likely be extremely valuable. Correctly deciding what to do and figuring out how to navigate an ever-changing world will have huge value. Resilience and adaptability will be helpful skills to cultivate. AGI will be the biggest lever ever on human willfulness and enabling individual people to have more impact than ever before, not less. So what does this even mean? Well, I wasn't 100% sure, so I actually went to ChatGPT and I asked it. I said, the writer of the following text is Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. This was recently written, and then I put in that entire paragraph. And I said, please explain what he means when saying agency, willfulness, and determination will likely be extremely valuable. What does he mean when he's expressing that, right? So it responded really nicely with a good explanation. It says that Sam Altman is emphasizing that personal initiative, decisiveness, and perseverance will be crucial in a world shaped by advanced AI, particularly artificial general intelligence. Agency refers to the ability of individuals to make choice and take action rather than passively follow circumstances or external forces. Willfulness suggests a strong drive to pursue one's goals even in the face of obstacles. Determination highlights the importance of persistence and commitment to achieving one's objectives. He argues that AGI transforms industries and societies. People who can proactively set goals, make strategic decisions, and adapt to change will have significant value. Rather than AI replacing human initiative, AGI will serve as a powerful tool that amplifies the impact of individuals who take charge of their future. To me, this really hits at academia. We need to be preparing our students for this. We need to be very realistic and tell them about what the future is bringing very quickly to us. That things are going to be changing very quickly, that jobs will be shifting and adjusting because of the new technology. So we need to prepare them for that by giving them these soft skills that this thing talks about right there, about persistence, about being able to be resilient, of being able to be lifelong learners. They need to be able to think to themselves, okay, it's going to be expected of me to continually upskill. That's the big thing. And I need to be okay with that. I need to not be simply overcome by anxiety because things are changing so fast. No, I need to be prepared for that. I need to make a plan. I need to know how to use AI itself to help me learn, to help me develop and upskill so that I can properly compete and get these jobs, as well as to ensure that I still have my job because I'm becoming more and more effective as well as more usable for my job, for my employment. So I have to be able to understand these things. So that means that us in academia have to see how can we mold our students to be able to fit this role and to be that adaptable to adjust for this ongoing developments within the world. Those are those are specific skills, components, and capabilities that we need to instill in them. Yes, of course, they have to be subject matter experts. They have to have this knowledge. Yes, we have to help them to be critical thinkers, creative thinkers. Yes, but we also need to ensure that these additional skills are being fully developed and understood by our students. This is key. Sam Altman is opening our eyes to this, but this is something that we should also see because AI is continuing to develop. So, of course, AI literacy plays a major role in this because components of that deal with some of these things, especially critical thinking. But this is an aspect of being able to use the technology to help us to develop in order to keep pace with the ongoing advancements. Sam Altman goes on to say that we expect the impact of AGI to be uneven. Public policy and collective opinion on how we should integrate AGI into society matter a lot. One of our reasons for launching products early and often is to give society and the technology time to co-evolve. AI will seep into all areas of economy and society. As we get closer to achieving AGI, we believe that trending more towards individual empowerment is important. The other likely paths we can see is AI becoming used by authoritarian governments to control their population through mass surveillance and loss of autonomy. Ensuring that the benefits of AGI are broadly distributed is crucial. The historical impact of technological progress suggests that most of the metrics we care about, health outcomes, economic prosperity, etc., get better on average and over the long term, but increasing equality does not seem technologically determined, and getting this right may require new ideas. Once again, this is extremely important for academia on several different levels. One is that, again, we need to be sure that AI literacy is a fundamental thing that all students develop. Why? Because one of the big components there is awareness. They need to be aware of what's happening in society, what's developing. Is this being fair? Is this helping our society? Is this simply being used for excessive surveillance? Those type of things. That is really important. But again, if our student does not have these skills, is not even aware that this is happening, then they won't have the capability to do this critical analysis, to have this critical awareness, to make these decisions and to fight certain things, right? We have to be ready for that because this is a real possibility, as Sam Altman even describes right there. This is the guy that built OpenAI, and he's talking about, hey, these are some scary possibilities. So we need to make sure that we're having these discussions. We're bringing this up to help prepare our students for this reality. And finally, Sam closes this out by saying, in particular, it does seem like the balance of power between capital and labor could easily get messed up, and this may require some intervention. We are open to strange sounding ideas like giving some compute budget to enable everyone on Earth to use a lot of AI, but we can also see a lot of ways where just relentlessly driving the cost of intelligence as low as possible has the desired effect. Anyone in 2035 should be able to marshal the intellectual capability equivalent to everyone in 2025. Everyone should have access to unlimited genius to direct however they can imagine. The resulting creative output of the world will lead to tremendous benefits for us all. So he ends that by having sort of two huge statements there, right? One, talking about how, oh yeah, business and the economy and the way that people have jobs and work right now might be completely different. And that might be problematic. Yeah, that could be very problematic, right? If we don't have jobs to be able to make money, to have the economy function, those are going to be major issues for us to think about and address. But we need to be thinking about them and addressing them right now so that we can minimize the pain points. So I made a separate video that's talking all about the economy and the future and some possible solutions. So I suggest that you check that out because that's another point of discussion dealing with this. And he brings up that second point, right, as far as what he believes that the reality will be like, meaning that in the year 2035, and again, I would replace that with 2030, that any person will be able to use the combined capabilities of, of the people that exist in 2030, 2025. So that means that in the future, we'll be able to access this knowledge and capability that is just tremendous, made up of billions of people. So the power that we'll have in the future is going to be unbelievable as far as being able to use genius, like he said, in whatever way we see as needed in order to move forward, in order to develop, in order to accomplish our goals. So that's really powerful. That's really powerful and talks about what the future holds. It's going to come at us very quickly, very fast. So we need to be thinking about these things right now, planning for those things, and developing these soft skills within our students so that they can be ready to do this. And the big message that has to be ongoing is to help our students understand that you still need to be the subject matter expert. Yes, the knowledge will be there with the AI, but the people who will be able to use the AI to the maximum are the people that already have capabilities and smartness within themselves. They have that intelligence, and then they can magnify that even more by using AI appropriately. And then by understanding how this AI is working, they can help to make better decisions for society so that we can help to address these issues that will be coming to us. Because there will be lots of issues. So we need to try to minimize pain points and maximize the benefits so that everyone can definitely have a prosperous future. So I'm optimistic, and I think we can get through this if we work together. So please like, comment, put in what your thoughts are on this. What do you think about Sam's thoughts here, about his observations, his predictions for the future? I'm very interested in what you see in all of this and what you think might be in the future based off of what he's saying here. Oh, and remember, learning is for life.